I would like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone in whom I learned this truth. Shalom to the brothers who pushing this gospel and truth and in sincerity to the four corners of the earth to wake up the elect and to the elect. Shalom. We have to remember Amalek, all right? Which is hard, not which is not hard, not to forget this devil, all right? Because he's our number one enemy, all right? Especially when you in this truth and you understand everything. We definitely don't supposed to forget Amalek and Yahweh Bashmi Yahweh Shai, uh, will not let us, anyways. Well, his elect, at least, he will not let them forget Amalek and what he have done to us, and what he's still doing to us this until this day. You know, so this is why I have Numbers, the 24th chapter, because when we was coming out of when we was coming out of Egypt in Exodus, right? This is when Amalek decided to attack us, right? And he basically attacked the weak and the stragglers, you know. And because of that, Yahweh was told the Israelites that that we should remember this, and we're gonna have war with Amalek from generation to generation. You know, actually, let's get what's that? Exodus. Uh, this is Exodus 17, chapter 14, verse. And Yahweh said unto Moses, write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua. For I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. And Moses built an altar. And Moses built an altar and called the name of it Jehovah Nisi. And let's go into the Hebrew word for that. Uh, uh, so the Hebrew word is Yahweh is my banner. All right. Jehovah Nisi is Yahweh is my banner in Hebrew. Let's go back. So this is Exodus 17:15. We read that again. And Moses built an altar and called it the name of it Jehovah Yahweh. Let's read it one more time. So like, yeah, this is Exodus 17:15. And Moses built an altar and called the name of it Yahweh is my banner. All right, we're gonna say the real uh, meaning of it in Hebrew. All right. Oh, the name of the name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh. All right, and actually we'll probably do a lesson on that later. All right. Um, but yeah, this Yahweh is my banner, Jehovah Nisi. All right. So Exodus 17:16, for he said, because Yahweh have sworn that Yahweh, um, this is Exodus 17:16, for he said, because because Yahweh has sworn that Yahweh will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. So that's the point. So we was gonna have war with Amalek from generation to generation, all the way up till now, right? We still have war with Amalek, right? But it's just not a physical war; it's a spiritual war. You know, well, how um, this devil, keep us down by the government and financially, right? And other ways. But those are a couple of the main reasons to not reason, but a couple of how could you say it? A couple of reasons, not reasons, but a couple of ways. So like a couple of ways to keep us down, right? Through the government, their laws, policies, right, and financially, right, keeping us in the ghettos, giving us only so much just to get by, you know, making it hard for a Latino, Negro, and Native American to get a job, so-called Latino, Negroes, and Native Americans to get a job here in America, just by the color of our skin. But we know the real reason why, right? The real reason is we are the Israelites. We are the Heavenly Father's chosen people. This is the reason they keep us down, and this is the reason they hate us, all right? Talk about how they basically was uh, praising our downfall when we went off and sinned against y'all. You know, that was in I think that's Lamentations 5:15, 14. All right, but they basically praised, had praised, was joyful of the downfall of the Israelites. All these nations, man, and not just Amalek, all these nations. All right, but Amalek, he struck first, right? When we first came out of Egypt. All right, and because of that, the Heavenly Father made a covenant that we was going not a covenant, but he made a pact that we was gonna be warring with them from generation to generation, man, all the way up until they get destroyed. Because they definitely gonna get destroyed. You gotta have it. But let's get back to Numbers, the 24th chapter and 20th verse, because they are the first of their nation, and it's kind of twofold because they was the first that went up against the Israelites, and then they was the first uh, um, of their nation. They the head of their nation. They the chief nations of Esau, Edom. Who was this? Who was the so-called white man? All right, that's what's that? Genesis 36 and 8. Esau is Edom. Actually, let's just get it real quick. This is Genesis 36, chapter 8, verse. Thus to Esau and Mount Seir, Esau is Edom. All right, so it's not just one nation. I mean, it's not just one group of people. Esau is basically when they speak of Esau, it's not just one person. It's basically speaking about a nation of people. Just like when you speak about the Israelites, you're speaking about a nation of people. When you speak about uh, the Northern Kingdom, right, or you hear about Ephraim or uh, how could Ephraim or Israel, it's basically speaking about the Northern Kingdoms most times, sometimes. And when you hear about the Southern Kingdom, it's speaking about Judah the Levites, Judah, which is the so-called Negroes, the Haitians, which is the so-called Levites, and the Jamaicans, which are the so-called Jamaicans, which are the Benjamites, right? Those are three tribes out of the southern kingdom. Sometimes you'll hear Judah, right? Or you'll hear, yeah, basically Judah, right? Which will speak about the whole southern kingdom, right? So Esau is basically not just one person the Bible speak of when they speak about Esau. Esau is Edom. Well, when you hear Basra, Basra is over there in Edom. You know, Petra, you know, over there in Edom. All right. So this is Numbers the 24th chapter, 20th verse. And when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. Right? So he's the first of the nation. He the first of the nation, not chronologically, but the first of the nation, like the chief of Esau. He's the head of Esau. He's the head of all the nations. You know, he's the one that's in power right now. This is how we connect who's running the scene and who's the puppet master. You know, and we know this is how we connect who's the puppet master and who's the puppet, who's the puppets. You know, because what Job tell us, right? The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. If not, where and who is he? Right? The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Right? This devil didn't cover the faces of the judges of the earth, man. Starting with Yahweh Shemi Shai and his chosen people, the Israelites. How they whitewashed, you know, our faces, you know, basically whitewashed our history, right? But this devil, he gonna get destroyed. He's gonna get destroyed, and there's gonna be no more of him. And you're not gonna see Amalek again. And when I speak of Amalek, Amalek is just a little history. Amalek is the grandson of Esau, right? Who became the forefather of the Amalekites. So when you hear about the Amalekites, it's talking about Amalek, but a nation in whole, right? Just like when you hear about the Israelites, it's talking about the northern kingdom most times. Sometimes when you hear about Judah, it's talking about the southern kingdom. Or when you hear about Ephraim, it's talking about the northern kingdom. It's just like with Amalek. When you hear about Esau, it's talking about Edom in a whole. All right, but their latter end should be um, death, man. That they should perish forever. You know, this devil gotta go. He's going to get destroyed for everything he have done to the Israelites, right? And Yahweh Shemi Shai. He got to pay. And the Amalekites are those so-called the Amalekites that say this. The Amalekites are those small hat cheap suits, man. That's over there in the Holy Land. Those are the Amalekites. And just like what they did to Israel, our people, when he came up behind us and uh, killed the weak and stragglers, right? Elderly, young, and old, and the men that was exhausted from war and weak, you know, not exhausted from war, but exhausted from, you know, escaping out of Egypt, right? And war. Well, no, not war, but because we was basically like famished. We was coming, you know, out of Egypt, going through the desert and dry land and stuff. So people was exhausted, man, and we was escaping from Pharaoh as well. So you got to understand that the Israelites was basically um, tired, hungry, sleepy, you know, all the above. And this devil came up behind us and started killing us, right? So he got to pay for all that, man. Amalek, those imposters over there in the Holy Land, got to pay for everything they have done. Stole our heritage, right? They've been they help uh, with the slavery and the Amalek. When we talk about Amalek is Esau Edom too, because they both did us dirty during the times of slavery. Amalek was the ones that funded the slave ships. Most of the slave owners are was most of the slave ships was basically funded by Amalek. Those imposters, man, small hats over there in the Holy Land. You know, so they got to pay for everything they have done. This is why they the first of their nations. They the ones that got the money, man. They the ones that rule that's ruling right now. They own all these major corporations that's in America, and that's over in other countries as well. You know, they are the wicked that's ruling the earth right now, man. They are the ones where the earth is in the hands. Who the earth is in the hands of. All right, but so um, Yahweh Shemi Yahweh basically said, remember them. You know, remember what they have done to us when we was coming out of Egypt, man. This is why he told Saul, King Saul, to destroy them, but King Saul did not complete the assignment. He had to pay for it, you know, for not hearkening to Yahweh Shem Yahweh for being disobedient. Disobedience is likened to witchcraft. All right. But yeah, man, we gotta remember who our enemies are. They're the ones that came up against us in Psalms the 83rd chapter, where they said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation. It named Esau first. And Esau is Edom. And everything that came from Edom, all the nations that came from Edom, including Amalek. All right. Lord willing, until next time, Shalom.